We have a guest today, and that's what this show is going to be about. Her name is Jennifer Foster, and we're going to be talking about her work in the energy dynamic model. Before we go there, this is the Neals Show. I am your host, Neal Kruse. You can get the newsletter by going to nealandlarry.com, the website. Now, always remember, Neal is spelled funny. It's N-E-A-L, not N-E-I-L. But you go to nealandlarry.com and click on the past shows button, and you'll see a newsletter, a yellow tab. You click on that, it'll download the newsletter, and that will have Jennifer's information, some quotes from her. Mm-hmm. It will also have her books and where you can get her books and so on and so forth. So go ahead and do that. You can also sign up for the newsletter when you go there. And also remember that if you can't listen to the whole show today as a Saturday morning, you can go to nealandlarry.com, click on past shows, and you will find this show mounted there for you to listen to later. A lot of people listen to the Neal Show on Saturday evenings or on Sunday evenings. Also remember that iHeart is an app that you can plug into your cell phone so that you can listen to the Neal Show anywhere in the world. We seem to have developed a Russian audience, and in case you're listening, folks, welcome to the Neal Show. Really happy that you're interested in this show and what is going on. So this is an international broadcast, basically. Also, you can get the I should mention, I'm not going to have the show mounted right away because we're out of the Salina studio this morning, so I have some driving to do. So it's going to be a little bit later than usual, but I should have it mounted by 4 or 5 today. Don't forget my partner's website, LarryWeingarten.com, WEINGARTEN. Larry and I are staying in touch. He's getting into all kinds of interesting stuff, and you can find out what he's doing by going to his website. So we're not going to have callers today. We got too much to talk about, but let me see. I think I will introduce our guest. Now, Jennifer Foster lives in Wales, and so she is calling in from the UK. And thank you, Jennifer, for helping me get my long distance fixed, which wasn't working at all. But we have Jennifer from Wales, and it's evening time for her. She is a mother of 3. She has gone to college and for about 6 years and received an MA, I believe, in economics. She has a love of interest in theater. And actually, Jennifer, why don't I let you take over from there and sort of introduce yourself and in terms of how that got you onto these wonderful books that you've written and so on.
Well, hello, Neal. Am I on air?
Yes, you are on air.
Hello, Neal.
How does it feel to be? See, Jennifer, you were on some YouTube broadcasts in the United States, haven't you been recently?
Yeah, I have, but this is the first one that's been on the telephone.
Ah, okay. Yeah. Well, welcome to the world of radio, which is actually, all my YouTube friends are going to kill me. It's better than YouTube because there are a lot more people listening to you live.
Oh, great.
They do listen to the YouTube videos live as well. I understand that, but
yeah. Well, I have a funny thing to say before we get on to the books for that my first boyfriend was called Neal, spelled in a funny way like yours, N-E-A-L.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
How about that?
Well, that's amazing because I've been telling Jennifer that she is so like me in so many ways. I was kind of blown away, and I'm beginning to think it's because. Like me, she's one of those people that didn't get sucked up into the system. Right, Jennifer? You were different, and I got in trouble for being different all the time.
Yeah, well, maybe we're the ones that got away.
But they tried to stuff us back in the can. Did you notice?
Yeah, too right. Yeah, several times.
Yes, many times in my life. It was, stop reading that stuff. What is wrong with you? Why don't you just do what everybody else does? You know what I got mostly, Jennifer, was, why aren't you making money? That's what you're supposed to do. Make money. Stop reading all that stupid research stuff.
Well, absolutely. And I remember when I was doing my master's degree in economics, I had my 2 best friends. One was studying to be a GP, which she is now, and the other one was studying to be a banker, which she is now. and they were both horrified when I said, well, I'm just going to. I actually used to say, well, I'm just going to, write and change the world, really, and they thought I was completely insane.
Yes, so of course, and now it's actually happening.
Well, yeah, and they're doing their thing too. So we're still in touch. We are still in touch.
What age were you when they told you that, and when you said that?
Oh, about 15, probably. When we were at school, we were doing our O-levels and that.
No kidding.
And, yeah.
So you had a sense at age 15 that you were going to be doing this?
Yeah. Yes. Oh, well, yeah. Well, I kind of was then. I kind of was then, as I sort of was saying to you earlier, that I've always seen things differently. And but luckily, I think I was very lucky because I had a nice family, and that I always felt nurtured and loved. So
wonderful.
I didn't sort of develop a problem with it, and they sort of just accepted that I saw things in a certain way. But and because I was loved and I had lots of good feels, I sort of just carried on and enjoyed doing theatre and enjoyed school because I had nice friends. We used to have a laugh about things like bankers and GPs and changing the world. And we've all watched each other do our thing. So
wow.
So it's been quite good. But I do think one thing that did change the game for me was when I moved to Wales, because I left London 15 years ago. And then when I came to Wales, it's a very small village and nothing ever happens and everyone kind of goes round in circles. And it's very bizarre, very bizarre. I don't know if you've heard of Dylan Thomas, because he spent
Oh, yes,
America,
of course.
didn't he? Right. Do you know the play he wrote, Under Milkwood?
I think I've heard of that. I don't think I've read it, but I think I've heard of his play. I used to read his poetry and love his poetry.
Yeah.
And he was in Wales, was he not?
He was from Wales, and his book, Under Milkwood, is about a tiny village next to where I live. And, yeah, and it's all about. It's a beautiful book. It's all about the sort of the rhythm of the nothingness and the sun's out and it's beaches and it's mountains and it's trees, but Mrs. Jones still goes down the road every day at 4:00. And it always is like that. And that's what it's like. And when I moved here, I think because it was so different to London, and then everything went a little bit up the chute for me. All I had was me. I couldn't get a job because there wasn't anything. I couldn't really talk to anyone because no one was really talky type of person. No one was really, they were just doing their thing, sort of round and round.
Yes, sort of mechanicalness, right?
Well, yeah, but in a sort of quite a gentle way, though. Like the man would walk the dog apart, outside the front door. And then you'd look out the window and the same woman would be hanging up her clothes on the washing line, exactly like the Dylan Thomas play. Incredible. Incredible. I felt like I was in it.
How has that been for you? Do you like that? Has it helped you?
Well, this is what I mean. I think because I was away from London and because I couldn't find work or anything, I had to do it myself. So that sort of forced me to have the discipline and the sort of focus to write these books and to do the work I've done, because there was nothing else I could do.
Perfect.
Because I think if I was in London, I probably would have just got another job.
Wow.
Or gone to the pub with my friends and had a laugh or whatever,
Right, right.
But I think because I was here...
The system would have grabbed you and pulled you back in.
Absolutely, but because I was here, practically on my own...
Yes.
With the children, with children, and that I had to do it. I was forced to focus, really. So that's been that I think changed the game. If I'd probably stayed in London and had a job and everything, I wouldn't have had the time or the focus to write the books and do the videos.
Wow, that is amazing. I mean, what I want to say before we go too far is. First of all, people, her website is energydynamic.co.uk. Energydynamic.co.uk. And that's where you can find her books and many of her blogs and articles. And the one thing that I wanted to say at the beginning of this interview, a lot of people I feel are looking at Jennifer's work and saying it's a nice little tool to put in your self-help toolbox, or it's a handy little method that's different from some of the other methods that we're using. And what I wanted to say at the beginning of the show, that would be wrong. What Jennifer is perceiving, will change everything. It will change the way we do economics. It will change the relationships of parents to children. It will change our relationships to each other. I talked in the last show about some things about our community that I'm not happy with, but I'm seeing a degradation of society, less and less integrity, less and less people caring and loving. This is the answer. So this is not a minor technology. It's not a technology. It's a perception. It's a pattern. This is huge, people. And so listen to it from that standpoint. This is game changing. What Jennifer has perceived here. Okay, Jennifer. So I just wanted to get the attention level up before you got into your story here about this. I think people can see I'm kind of blown away by this. She asked me to read her book, and you're all going to want to do this. And I address this to teachers, to professors, and to parents, and to people who are interested in how to make community work. This will absolutely change so much for you, her books and her work. So excuse me for interrupting like that, Jennifer, but keep going now.
Well, it's okay. It's okay. Maybe if I just go from that, is that what people have said to me is that it makes sense of everything.
It makes sense of everything.
Yeah, so it's a framework that then once you understand it, then you can decide for you, given who you are, because you are the only person who knows who you are. Okay, you're the only person who experiences being you, and if you can understand this framework, then you can decide what you need to do next, and then make that informed choice. Because a lot of the time when I was developing this work, it struck me that people don't make informed choices because they're not allowed to, and they're not taught to, and they're told what to do by whoever.
Wow.
And that used to drive me mad, actually, especially in cases of learning difficulties. When I give you one example, there would be a person who maybe they didn't want to put their glasses on, and the system would say, well, that's okay because that's their choice. But my point was, yes, but they can't see. They can't see. They're not making an informed choice, are they?
Yes.
So, you know, so it's people are making choices, but because they're not informed, given who they are, given the way they operate, often people repeat and go round and round in circles, and then have to be told what to do because they're not performing in the best way they possibly can. So what I'm hoping is that this model will give the power back to the people so they can understand what they need to do next. They can understand what's going on in their mind. They can understand what they need to be powerful human beings. And they can lose this victim consciousness they have from the system and from what other people are telling them to do, because the people will then have this knowledge that they can apply. And then they can decide to go and see the nutritionist. They can decide to go and see a hypnotherapist. Or they can decide to go and see an acupuncturist, you know?
Yes. Instead of being told to do that.
Absolutely, because they can make up their own mind. I mean, someone might do this and think, actually, I know what I need to do next. I need to go and, go and walk my dog around the park. Fantastic.
Yeah.
But they've decided that. It's not someone telling them they should.
Right.
And this model also explains why that happens. And another thing that, I can go on for hours, Neal.
I love it. I believe it.
Another thing that sort of annoys me about all this is people say, they can't be just one way because everyone's different. But I'm like, hold on. Yes, everyone is different. But because we're all human beings, we all work in the same pattern. And that's not what we've been taught. We've not been taught that. We used to know it intuitively. When we were cavemen, we knew how we worked. We knew when we needed a hug. We knew when we needed to eat. We knew that, didn't we? We knew how to love and how to nurture and how to look after ourselves in a community. We knew that.
Yes.
But that's been forgotten now, because we've all got into our states of mind, which we can talk about in a minute, forgotten who we are, forgotten what we feel, and have gone into our mind and are now looking for approval for the rest of society all the time. And because we've lost our truth, we've lost our who we are, we don't know anymore. We don't know anything anymore. So instead, we have to start thinking, which is mind, or spirit, which is belief, instead of bringing the spirit, belief aspect of stuff into who you are and actually manifesting that into the physical 3D planet we live on by showing love and care and creativity.
Oh, my. So I think a lot of people might say to themselves, well, I make up my own mind. I nobody tells me what to do. I'm making all my own choices. Do they really?
That's the point. Yeah, because they do make up their own mind. That's it. That's exactly the point, Neil. But the point is, it's not the mind. It's not the mind. It's who they are and what they feel. It's who they are and what they feel and what they know. What they know,
Their inner knowing.
Yes, it's about knowing, and it's a very practical thing. It's not sort of woo-woo, It's not a woo-woo, who are you? And it's not a woo-woo feel. It's a real grounded, raw, human love thing,
Yes.
It again, often it's sort of portrayed, as soon as you start saying who you are, it's portrayed into sort of hippie land of fuzziness. But in my second book, I actually define who you are, and I don't define it in a philosophical way because I can't. That's not what I do. But I can define it in a practical way. So if you do follow it, think, okay, this is who I am, then you can use it to find yourself a job. Yeah?
Yes.
So you make up your own mind in finding a job, but you do it on your terms, in a kind and humble way to yourself. So you don't have to cut yourself off, because the kind and humble rule is really important. And the first person you need to be kind and humble to is yourself. And you need to stop fighting your mind, because your mind is in control, because that's what we're focusing on. And we need to be kind and humble and think, actually, no, I like flowers, so how about getting a job as a gardener?
Wow.
So you're nurturing yourself.
Yes.
You're positioning yourself as such, so you can be valued by society because you're being who you are. You're not having to cut yourself off from your inherent being and go and find a job in an office just because you think you should.
Yes.
If you follow. Although there's nothing wrong with being in an office, by the way, and if you're someone who likes being in an office, that's fantastic too. I'm just sort of using that to make a point.
Yes. And then that ties into the whole economic thing, which is now we need to work so that we can have money, so that we can buy things from people we don't know and love.
Absolutely, and in the answer book, I talk a lot about money in that, and this is really fascinating to me.
Oh, me too.
The thing about money, Neil, is that money doesn't give you a feel. It gives you what I call a tick, which is mind energy. So if you imagine mind energy is like fire, it's emotion, it gives you a buzz.
Yes.
If you are paid money, you get a tick. Yes, I've got a tick. Whereas if you, sorry, my little boy is asking me to have a banana.
Yes.
sorry.
That's cute.
Well, my goodness. Hold on.
By all means.
Oh, sorry about this.
Oh, no, please. Children are welcome on this show, by the way.
Oh, my goodness. Sorry.
They should be included. I don't believe in excluding children.
Oh, well, he's always going to pop in and out.
Good.
Anyway, sorry. So
that's
if
welcome.
You're back to money. So if we're focusing on money, okay, we're focusing on something that's not a feel. So if I pay you $10, Neil, I'm giving you a tick. I'm giving you a mind energy tick of money, which you think, yay, I've got some money.
So in my mind, I say, wow, $10 and now I feel good, and that's a tick.
It's a tick, but it's not actually a feel, okay? It's not actually a feel.
Feel has higher value than a tick, right?
Yeah. A feel is, and I'll give you an example. If I give money to someone to build my house, okay, and this is in the answer book, so you can read this later. If I give money to someone to build my house, they get a tick because I've given them money. I get a tick because I've achieved my target of having a house, okay?
Yes.
So we've both had a tick exchange. But what I haven't got is I haven't got the good feels that I would have generated if I had built my house myself.
Oh, wow.
So building my house myself would have given me a feel because I'm doing it and I'm creating.
Yes.
So by giving someone money to do something for me that before I would have done myself and created a good feel is one reason why we as a Western society have lost our feelings, because we've traded a feel for a tick.
Yes. And now we've learned to do that, and we all do it more and more,
Yes.
and we're not happy. And then we
Yes.
need more energy, right? Because the
Yes.
feel fills you up, fulfills you.
Yes,
But
and we
the
haven't got
tick
that.
doesn't quite do as well.
No, the tick is like fire, so only lasts about a day. It lasts about a day.
It's quick.
The tick, and then you need another one. Then you need another one, and it's also relative. Okay.
Yes.
So I pay you $10. Within 6 months you want 12. I give you 12. You want more. You want 15. You want
Yes.
So it's quick. It's relative. You always want more, and it gives you a buzz.
Yeah.
And it also means you go into your mind, which again maybe we can save for another day. But it means you start to run yourself through your mind. Okay.
Yes.
Now a feel is like water. A feel is very quiet. It's very calm. You carry it with you all the time, and it doesn't leave you. And that's sort of in your stomach area. It's your feel. It's the love you might have for a child,
Uh-huh.
or your dog,
Uh-huh.
or something that you experience when you create something.
Yes.
And it stays with you. And interestingly, fire and water, if you look at both of them, you notice the fire, you notice the emotion, but which one is stronger?
The emotion?
Water. Well,
Water.
water, because water can put out a fire.
Yes. Oh.
And, yeah.
Got
So
it.
feel is actually much stronger than emotion because
Wow.
it's water.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
And with a fire as well, again, this is I sort of thought about all this after I thought of the picture. With fire, you need things to make a fire, don't you? You need wood, you need a spark, you need things to make fire.
Yes.
So you need other things other than you to make it. So you need another person to create this fire mind energy,
Yes.
which is very much back to the point of finding things outside of yourself.
Right.
Because you need someone outside of you to give you that mind energy.
Yeah. Now you need belonging. Now you need 2,000 likes on Facebook because
Yes.
you're looking outside of yourself to
Yes.
feel good. Yeah.
Yes. So you need two people or two interactions. Not even people, as you said. You can get it from a computer. You can get it from money. Money's so common. It's this money really, and status. And roll in a big car and a nice house. But you need them to get a tick. Okay.
Yeah.
Feel is completely different. If you create something, that will give you a good feel.
Yes.
And like water is just there.
Yes.
Oh, I can hear music.
Okay. Yeah, that's signifying that we're coming up on a short break here, Jennifer. And we'll be back after that. It's going to be just a couple of minutes. And then when we come back, let's focus on what a feel is and how we get that really good core energy. I think that's sort of platform to your work here. So, hi, everybody. You're listening to The Neals Show. This is Power Talk 1460, AM 101.1 FM and 105.1 HD2. We are going to be talking with Jennifer Foster about the true human energy that we lack. We'll be right back.
All right, thanks very much, Neal. 11:31 here at Power Talk Radio, and we are getting news bulletins in from 24/7 News that a terrorist attack is underway right now at the Intercontinental Hotel in Kabul, Afghanistan. Now, according to Afghani officials, the gunmen appear to be suicide bombers. Some guests have reportedly been shot, and at least 4 gunmen are said to be on the upper floors of the luxury hotel. The hotel guests include foreigners, and there are reports that an IT convention is underway. It's a developing story, and we will keep you on top of that here, and there'll be an update in our news at the top of the hour following the Neal Show. Right now at 11:32, we'll go ahead and take this break and return to more of the Neal Show after these words.
Saturday afternoon at 3 on Hometown Heroes. He was just 18 years old, prepared to lead over 300 pack mules over the Himalayas when his ship was torpedoed by a German U-boat.
When they torpedoed that ship, I rattled around in that mule chute like a rubber ball. The mules didn't make it, and a lot of the men didn't make it.
Hear how long he floated in the Indian Ocean and how he survived to become a Hall of Fame cowboy on Hometown Heroes. Saturday, 3 p.m. on Power Talk, 1460 and 101 FM.
Are your parents getting on in years? Perhaps a loved one in your family no longer able to take care of themselves like they used to? But what to do? Larger facilities leave you feeling cold. 24-hour home care, too expensive? I'm Neal with The Neals Show, and I want to tell you about a couple of friends of mine, Miriam and Herman, and their two wonderful residential care homes, Agape of Carmel and Flanders Court of Carmel, founded in 1989. Owner-operated, only 6 residents in each home, ensuring special, loving attention. Sunny, warm environments. Residents decorate their own rooms. Visitors come and go almost any time of day or night. Home-cooked meals made from wholesome foods and special diets if needed. Herman and Miriam drive their residents to doctor appointments, keep them laughing and happy like being at home. Usually full, they have an opening right now. So call Herman at 831-626-0824 for a tour of their incredible facilities or just for a little free advice. Again, that's Herman at 831-626-0824.
Trending on Power Talk.
Preparing for a Schumer shutdown. Government shutdown.
Bowl of doggy do. Put a cherry on top and call it a chocolate sundae.
Stay informed.
The Democrats want a shutdown to get off the subject of the tax cuts because they work so well.
Get a news feed.
Chuck Schumer won't have a shutdown. He's going to get a shutdown tonight.
It is reckless. It is wrong.
Fox News. Every hour on the hour.
The clock is ticking.
We are going to manage the shutdown differently. This has turned into a
This
show.
Is Power Talk 1460 and 101 FM.
Hi, I'm Lana Clausen, a farmer in Setanta, Kansas. I'm proud to support the next generation of ag leaders through the America's Farmers Grow Ag Leaders program sponsored by the Monsanto Fund. Each year, farmers can help local college students by endorsing them for a $1,500 Grow Ag Leaders scholarship. The program provides more than $500,000 each year to students looking to study an ag-related field. Students, apply today for a chance to win a $1,500 scholarship. Visit growagleaders.com.
iHeartRadio is the easy-to-use app for music and radio. Download the free iHeartRadio app today.
And at 11:35, let's get back to more of the Neal Show here on Power Talk Radio, 1460 and 101 FM. Neal?
Thank you, Mark, and welcome back to the Neal Show. I'm your host, Neal Kruse. We have with us Jennifer Foster, and she is talking about the energy dynamic. She has a whole new perception of everything, about how life works, about how humans work. Her work is going to transform our understanding of economics and money. I have talked to her previously and said I want to do a show later focused just on that one subject alone. But today we're focusing on her core background and teaching. Now, I want to mention again, her website is energydynamic.co.uk. And when you go there, you can buy her 2 books. One of them is The Answer, The Energy Dynamic Model, Part 1. And the other book is The Eye in the Storm, Part 2. And she has links there so that you can buy the books. Now, I got the Kindle version real quick, and I'm now going to be ordering the hardback because by the time I'm done with these books, I'm going to have about as many handwritings and notes in them as she has text, because this comes, this is really a major, major thing here. And I just want to say that over again. If we're going to be talking about community, how we work together, what makes us happy, how do we get healthy community again? She's actually giving us the key to that right here. I didn't think that it would be something that somebody could put into writing like this, like she has. Okay, so her name is Jennifer Foster, and again, that's 2 N's, Jennifer Foster. And what we were talking about in the first half is these different kinds of energy that human beings need to take in their bodies to live. And one of the quotes in her book called The Answer, she has 2 players in the book, and she writes this like a scene in like a stage play. And she has two players, Prospero and the boy, and they have a conversation. And here's the quote in Act 1. Without energy, a human being cannot carry on living. They slowly die. The difference between a dead person and an alive one is not what caused the death itself, but the fact that the person did not have enough energy to heal. So she is using the energy word. And now, in the first half, we were talking about feels. The word is feel, just like a feeling, F-E-E-L. But she has turned the word feel into a noun that describes a specific quality and type of human energy. And so we said now what we're going to get to is what is that type of energy? And I guess, Jennifer, you can go at this any way you want, because Jennifer is talking about feel as being the most important energy. A tick is the energy that comes from the mind and thinking, and then there's also the spiritual level. Go ahead, Jennifer. You could lay that out for us so that we have just sort of a basic outline of these three types of energy.
Well, thank you, Neil. You put that very well, actually. That was really well explained. I'll sort of go from there. First of all, what I'll do is I'll link up spiritual energy with feel energy, okay? Now
Right.
then, in essence, spirit energy and feel energy is the same, okay? So really there's only two types of energy. There's the mind energy, which is like fire, and then there's the feel energy, which is like water. Now, spirit energy is the sort of energy that you'd get if you were meditating or if you have a prayer, and it is the experience of gathering it up is exactly the same as a feel. But, and this is the huge, huge but, in order to gather up a spiritual piece of energy, you need to go up and leave 3D planet Earth, almost by definition, because you have to shut your mind, you have to not be aware of your surroundings, and you go up. Therefore, because the energy is not in time or space, you can't manifest it in the 3D planet we are living in.
Ah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So you actually have to go up and get it, and then you observe what's going on as if you were on the roof of a house. Okay?
Yes.
Now, in order to bring that spirit energy into your feel, into your 3D planet experience, this is all about recognizing your own unique self as your own unique being created to be that person. So if you can see that the way you bring down spirit energy into your feel, into the who you are, is just by acknowledging that who you are is a special, unique person, and then nurturing that, who you are, which I'll talk about in a minute, being that who you are in your time and space in the present, and then creating stuff from that point. And what happens is, so instead of going up to get spirit, you go down and bring the spirit energy with you.
Ah.
Is that clear? That's not the end of the story, but that's the beginning.
Okay, so in that way, we bring the spiritual energy into manifestation in the real world.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, by being who you are.
By being who we are.
Yeah.
So it's like almost a transformative process.
Yes. Yes. So you don't sort of, what normally happens is people do their job, for example,
yes,
where they're not being who they are. So they're not gathering up any feel energy because they're not being who they are, and they're not getting any spiritual energy because they're not being who they are. Okay,
yes,
they're getting mind energy because they're achieving, and they're getting approval and money from whoever's employing them.
Right.
Now, what often happens is they will be doing that for, say, 5 hours or 6 hours or whatever. Then they will go home and then they will meditate, and then they will go up. They will gather up some spiritual energy, which will balance them.
Yes.
Then they go back to work, and they go back into their mind. So they're going from mind to spirit, mind to spirit, mind to spirit.
Uh-huh.
Now, the issue with that is that they're not creating any feels because they're not actually in the real 3D planet manifesting and showing love and care to themselves and to others by creating that feel that we'll talk about in a minute.
Wow. Okay. Sorry. My mind is being blown.
Okay.
I see this so clearly. Please keep going. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just wanted to add that about spirit, because I'm not ignoring spirit at all, and it is very important. But
but it has to be brought into into manifestation.
You have to bring it down. You have to bring it down, not go up.
Yes.
You need to bring it down. You need to own it and own the responsibility of being a unique, special human person who is. If you think about it, if everyone's who they was put together, you'd probably have a massive picture, and everything that would ever need to be done would be done, because everyone's being created in a special way to fit into the whole picture that we cannot see because we're in it.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
So if they don't get who they are, then they don't do the thing that they were intended for in this overall pattern.
Yes.
And now we have that. Then that creates terrorist events in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
And around the world.
Yeah. 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 I mean, it's tragic, to be honest. I mean, it's terrible. It's terrible. And instead of being who they are in a kind and humble way and creating things with each other, and you know, you could create a fantastic world, couldn't you?
Yes.
People instead go into mind and spirit and get further and further away from who they are. I mean, there are reasons for this. There are reasons that people do this, which again is all in the books, and we can talk about another time. It is very hard to stay who you are, as you probably know from personal experience.
Yes.
And you do gather up lots of grief. Because back to feel energy then, there are only two feels you can gather up. That is peace or grief. And I explain peace by imagining sparkling water, and I explain grief by imagining dark water like Coca-Cola or something.
Yes.
Now, if you are being who you are, but you're not valued, you will score what I say is a minus feel, which is a little drop of dark liquid in your feels. Whereas if you are being who you are, you will get a sparkling drop of water in your feels.
Why is that?
Because the way your brain works out your feels is given your power needs, okay? Your power needs. Now, I can list your power needs, and this is how the brain works, and this is just what I've observed. I looked at about 2,500 people, and this is what happened in every single case, basically. And if you have these, what I call power needs, in your moment, the situation that you're in reality, you will score a plus feel, given who you are. So
okay.
Shall I run through it for you?
Okay. Explain that. Just run that by me one more time.
Okay. Your brain works out what you feel.
Your brain works out what you feel.
Before you are aware of it. Before you're aware of it, your brain works out what's going on. Okay.
And so it's doing that in the background, subconsciously, would we say?
Yes.
So what you're saying is there's a part of you that knows, but you may not know it consciously.
Yes.
And the brain works this out.
Yes, and this is actually lately been seen in neuroscience, that your brain actually knows what's happening before you're aware of it.
No kidding.
Yeah. Your brain is the first sort of receiver of the information, and it works out before you know what I am calling what you feel.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
And what it is totally this is unconscious. I wouldn't say it's subconscious. It's unconscious.
Unconscious. Okay.
It's how we work. It's how we work. So your brain works this out. Now, it's given who you are, so your brain knows that. So your brain knows if you like flowers. It knows if you like dogs. You know, it's how you're born. It's your inherent being, yeah?
Okay, it knows the truth about yourself.
Yeah, thank you. You're saying this better than me, Neal.
Hardly.
You're saying this better than me. Yes, your brain knows your true self, yeah. And then it measures how you're getting on with that true self by using what I call the power needs. And these are in the books, so that's where you found the information. And I will go, they're in 4 categories, basically. One of them is called your animal power needs, which is about, am I safe physically and emotionally? Am I in pain, yes or no? And am I giving love and care in the situation?
Yes.
Okay. Now, if you score a minus in any of them, you will have a large minus feel score, and you will probably have to be medicated to stay in that situation, okay? So if you're in pain, you will probably have to have a tablet. If you're not safe, you will probably have to take a drug because you're not in a safe environment.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So that's the animal ones, and they're really fundamental. The next ones up I call the human power needs, and this is what we were talking about the other day, Neal. Meaning, does this, what I'm doing, have meaning given who I am? Given who I am. Not given how much money am I getting for it. Given who I am.
Who I am. There is that focus again on the self and the being of the person.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is always this is what it's measured against.
Wow.
Okay?
So knowing who we are becomes critical to this.
It's totally critical. It's totally critical. If I know I like tomatoes, I need to eat tomatoes because that gives me a plus feel, and I need to know that, and I need to express that to the people around me so they can value me and nurture me by giving me tomatoes, by giving me what I need.
Yes.
Not by telling me what I should be doing.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
So meaning, purpose, given who you are. So do you know what you're doing something for? Now, the usual answer to this, well, it's a job, I'm doing it to earn money. Ha-ha. But you need to do a job that gives you purpose given who you are. So, like I was saying earlier, if you like flowers, be a gardener. Then you get a good feeling and a tick.
Yes. Oh, both.
Yes. Now, if you get both, Neal, go a bit further. If you get both, the tick turns into what I call a frilly, okay?
A frilly.
A frilly. Because it's a bonus. And it's a bit
it's a
like
plus. It's a plus, double plus.
It's a frilly. Yeah, it's a frilly.
Now, a frilly is a tick and a feel combined.
Yes, and that's sort of the ultimate. This is what we need. We need to maneuver ourselves in a position where we feel good and then we get a tick for it as well.
Okay, and you got an example for that?
Yeah, absolutely. If I'm doing this, I'm showing you who I am, you're valuing me, you're nurturing me, and then if you buy a book, that's the frilly.
Okay, so you're making money doing what you want to do.
Yeah, being who I am in a kind of humble way.
Yes.
Yes.
And so everybody would be happier if they were doing what they really wanted to do.
Yeah.
And
they'd all make money as well because they'd all be good at it.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Oh, yeah. Just a quick story. I was struggling in architecture financially. My friend's father was head of NBC Finance, smart guy. Sat down with him. He said, Neal, how can I help? And I said, I'm not sure about architecture. I'm not making any money. I'm always struggling. It's just difficult. And I was thinking maybe I should do something else where I could make more money. And he says, do you like architecture? And I said, I love it. He said, can you do it 24/7? I said, I could do it every waking moment. He said, Neal, to hell with the money. Do what makes your heart sing. He said, you will never make money in other ways anyway. You have to love what you're doing. And then he said, we're done now. And he walked out of the room.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, a lot of this is people know this. It's probably not been written down in a format where you could kind of like hold it in your hand,
They don't think they have the right to it. Neal, I have to get a job. I have to do what I don't want to do. You see, because that's the way it is in life.
Yeah.
They think that's just reality.
Yeah, and it's not.
Wow.
You can't be human. You can't be a nurturing, loving, caring, creative human being if that's the case. You turn into a mind, well, dare I say it, sort of robot, because you're just functioning through your mind. You end up getting all your energy through your mind, and you stop loving, and then you stop connecting, and then that's the beginning of psychopaths and etc.
Oh my God, that's the beginning of what I talk about is that we have become generally narcissistic in society.
Yeah, and that's why
That's where that's coming from.
Yeah.
We're self-obsessed, but we're not loving. There's no, it's like being loving and caring is not cool. That's codependent. You're weak if you do that.
Yes. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So go ahead. When we find ourselves, do we become naturally loving?
Well, that's a very interesting point. It's hard. This is a process, Neil. This is a process because there's reasons that people are not who they are. There are valid reasons, okay? No one wakes up one day in the morning and thinks, I'm not going to be who I am.
Okay.
There's reasons, and one of the reasons is major trauma.
Trauma?
Yeah, major trauma, big trauma, like something violent happened or something.
Right,
so they
like our soldiers and vets. Uh-huh.
So they have too much grief, so they can't go into who they are because it's just they have too much grief. It's too dark. They have no energy, so they can't do it actually. So they go into what I call alternative feel worlds. One of which is an escape world, and one which is other people. Escape world is to do with drinking and drugs, and other people is to do with abuse and other things like that.
Stealing energy from people.
Yeah. Which I sort of talked about that on the other show, but that's another subject. But there's valid reasons why people can't be who they are. So first of all, what has to be addressed in that case is the grief, and you solve grief by showing people how to create good feels. Because if you create good feels, the grief slowly dilutes and the dark water becomes lighter. But it's a process. It's hard. And people need a lot of support, and you need to have a very strong boundary if you're caring for someone in that boat. Okay.
Yes.
So that's that. The other reason that people aren't who they are is because they literally don't know how to do it.
Right.
Because they've cut off because they're just mind basically. When I mean mind controlled, I don't mean from an outside source. I mean because they've become so focused on their mind tick collection. Yeah?
Yes. Right.
Their brain thinks, well, this works, doesn't it? This works. I get lots of ticks constantly, so let's do this because this is working. So people, their brain changes, and again, this is all neuroscience about how the brain works with the neuron pathways and things.
Right.
Especially up to an age of a child, up to sort of 5 or 6 or whatever, their neuron paths are quite fixed by that time. And if they've always been, being quite mind orientated because of the way the parenting has been, or the school, or the whatever, they literally will not know who they are. Well, they will have no concept of it.
They won't even know to look for who they are. Well, they won't even know that there's something missing.
No, they won't know. And it's not. I've worked with people, Neil. When I first started to do this as a self-employed person, with business people who had lots of money. And I used to have to hit them. I did kickboxing once upon a time, and I had the pads and all that. I used to have to hit them so they knew what a feel was.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, you mean that the hit shocked them into the moment?
Well, I just said that's what a feel is, because they didn't know what I was talking about. They were so mind-orientated. So I hit them. I said, that's the feel, that's the feel. Then I used to get them to hit me, with the pads and all that. And they were like, oh yeah, and because it got them down from their mind, it put them into animal, it put them into the animal power need, you see, because the brain would immediately start to think, what's going on? It's an animal thing, safety, safety, basically. I'm hitting them, so they would go into their animal power need of safety,
right?
And so but they'd immediately go up again because as soon as their brain realised they were safe because they had pads, they'd go back into their mind again. But it was just to get. I used to find if I sort of hit a client about 4 different sessions, they actually became more grounded. But you have to be careful with it because, as I said, there are reasons that people aren't who they are. So some of them is because there's big trauma there, so you've got to be very, very gentle. Some of it's because they literally don't know who they are, so you have to kind of reprogram them in a kind of humble way using these books and stuff, and very gently kind of, because when someone realizes actually they've been doing something all their life that hasn't been who they are, it can be quite difficult for them.
Right, like I've wasted the last 30 years of my life.
Well, that's right. It's just sort of like midlife crisis type scenario, So you have to be kind of quite gentle with it all. So that's why people leave who they are anyway.
Wow. So
and the last thing
yes.
related to that is that I call that low grade trauma. So people aren't having a huge trauma as a one-off violent attack, whatever it is, bad. You know, they are having little they're either having very low plus feels, so they've got very, very, very low feel energy, which is basically low-grade trauma, because their fish bowl of sort of sparkling water is tiny like a pea,
yes,
when it should be like a goldfish bowl. Or they do have a feel, but because they're getting a negative all the time, and we'll finish with the power needs in a minute, because their power needs, their animal ones might be a plus, but all the others are a minus. They're getting a little bits of grief every single day, and they don't notice it.
Yeah.
But then they wonder why they're stressed. But
you mentioned once that a classroom could be that.
Sorry?
School could be a low-grade trauma. Classrooms.
Yes, it could. Yes, it could. It could. Because the other thing is... Oh, I can hear the music again.
Yeah, we never have enough time, do we? Don't worry, people. This is not going to be the last show with Jennifer. So she's giving you the groundwork here. And Jennifer, because we have just a minute left.
Yeah.
So what you have been talking about here in the last part is feels.
Yes.
And you've been describing different kinds of feels.
Yes. What creates your feels?
And what creates the feels?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So if Jennifer will be so kind, we are going to have her back on the show. Right now, people, her website is energydynamic.co.uk, and go there. You can also get the information on my website, nealandlarry.com, where you can also listen to the show later in the day and download the newsletter. It has all of her information on there. And I think I've got Jennifer to agree to some additional shows because I can't think of anything more important to get out right now. Jennifer, thank you so much.
Could I just, well, thank you, Neil. Could I just add, I've got a free courses for parents for their children on a website called amindthroughachildseyes.com.
amindthroughachildseyes.com.
Yeah, it's free online courses to show your children how to become emotionally strong.
Excellent. Everybody, you got to check out her books, her website. And thanks to my producer. Thanks so much, Jennifer. And Larry and Harry, thanks everybody for supporting the show. See you all next week. Thank you, Jennifer.
PowerTalk1460.com. Home of the most powerful name in news. Fox News. KION Salinas and K266BD Carmel Valley. Power Talk 1460 and 101.